The acting internal security CS, Fred Matiang'i, had a very interesting press conference a few moments ago. Yeah, indeed, if you are listening into that press conference, or if you attended it, you'd have to shake your head a bit to see if what you're hearing is really happening. Okay, now we have been very used to very strong worded statements from the internal security chaps, even the late Kaiseri. They used to issue very strongly worded statements. In fact, listening to an internal security CS, you would think that we don't have a constitution protecting the rights of people, especially protecting the rights of the Kenyan people for peaceful protests. You think we don't have anything like that in Kenya. You'd be sure, in fact, yeah? But this morning, hey, I found it hard to believe. Fred Matiang'i talked like a very humble sheep. Oh, you know, these are criminals. Normally a protester. How many times have we escorted the peaceful protesters up and down these streets? You know, the police, blah, 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 blah. Okay? And the government is talking very softly and customarily softly. Yeah, because all the previous press statements have been there. In the public domain. You can just go and check and compare and contrast. Okay? Now, what is happening here? I will tell you what is happening. The attention of the entire world is on Kenya. Okay? And that attention has retrieved an irrefutable evidence that there's a problem in Kenya. Okay? Now, one of the questions that Fred Matiang'i fielded, he was asked how many casualties so far. He looked back at the press with a straight face and said, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not aware of any single person having died. Gosh. I wonder how the families of those who have lost their lives would feel at that kind of answer. Okay? Something else very interesting that Matiang'i said. He said that he's very grateful to the mainstream press, but obviously we have a problem in social media. Now, you know, social media is very interesting because social media, yes, people cook stories on social media. That is true. But social media has this ability of getting on the ground and giving you what is actually happening in real time via things we call videos. You cannot cook a video. You can backdate a video, yes. You can go and get a video from the year 2007 and then you upload it and pretend it is 2017. That is possible. Yeah? But unlikely, very unlikely, because the volume of videos going through social media for you to get access to a video from that far back is very, very unlikely. And not only that, in 2007 we didn't have the proliferation of smartphones that we have today. Okay, so we have live pictures on social media telling you exactly what is happening in Kenya, and in my view, the government has panicked. Why has the government panicked? Because they're in a tight situation. Okay? We saw what happened. In fact, Kenyans are very creative. I have heard some people saying the computer president. But that is their view. Everybody has got a right to their opinion. Yeah? So after the announcement of the computer president, Kenyans have reacted. And they've reacted in anger. These Kenyans have not been, what is it called? They have not been incited, a favorite statement of the government. Nobody has incited these Kenyans. In fact, if there's anybody who has incited these Kenyans have been incited by the government by their actions. It's a government which is guilty of inciting Kenyans. Okay? Now, anyway, we're in a very tricky situation now because the government is on a defensive stand. Yeah? It is on a defensive stand because the image which is going out to the world on Kenya is that there's a problem, that 2007 is being repeated as we speak. Yeah, that's what's going on. That's what's happening. Okay, if truth be told, we are not yet where 2007 was. Nowhere near. Okay, there have been skirmishes here and there. There have been protests. There have been firing of live bullets. That's a fact. Yeah, people have lost their lives, but we're nowhere near there. Now, I know there's some people who have sport, or rather they enjoy seeing dead bodies, they enjoy seeing chaos and so on and so forth. I'm not one of those people. So I'm going to make a statement which will appear strange to you, but from the background of what I've just said, that I do not enjoy seeing the loss of lives, innocent lives, not even one, let alone 3 or 4. Yeah, when you hear me coming from there, you'll understand why. In fact, you'll change my statement from the compartment of strange to pure logic. Okay, what we need in Kenya now, immediately, is international intervention. Okay, we need international intervention to avert a disaster of colossal proportions. Yeah, let me repeat that. We need international intervention, yeah, immediately. We need people to come into Kenya and to sit down with the government and the opposition and to sort this thing out before it is too late. That is the only thing which can save Kenya right now. Okay? The government should take they should take action very quickly to do this. Yeah? For the sake of certain individuals within government, they should take very quick steps. Yeah? Because there's clear evidence, we have evidence that the government did heavy importation of anti-riot equipment before the elections. Yeah, we didn't need this in 2013. 2013 was also hotly contested. We didn't need it, but the government knew before the elections that we would need all this. Okay, that's evidence. It's circumstantial, yes, but it's very clear as daylight. Yeah, and for anybody who knows how this government works, this was pre-arranged. They knew. Okay, now how did they know there was going to be trouble? Because they already knew the results of the elections. Pure and simple. All the heavy armory, the horses being seen in Kenya for the first time, to spray people with the water at very strong force and so on and so forth. The deployment of heavy security presence in areas all over the country. Yeah, this was arranged long before the elections. Long before the elections. Okay, body bags being sent to areas like Kisumu. Okay, now there's some unconfirmed reports which I don't want to believe. Okay, I do not want to believe these reports because that would be, what would I call, a horror story. Okay, there's some unconfirmed reports that the advantage of body bags is that you can squeeze in and conceal bodies, yeah, away from cameras, away from blah blah blah. Yes. Oh boy. Anyway, we have all this evidence of what the government did before the elections. Right? Now we know what happened during the election. So when you put 2 and 2 together, it is very clear that the government knew exactly how the election results were going to go. There can be no other conclusion. It's just like in real life. You go and you get a license and you buy a gun, and when people ask you why you're buying a gun, you say you suspect, that your neighbor is going to attack you. Okay, and then sure enough, 2 weeks later, the neighbor is found dead inside your house. What do you think the cops will think? Yeah. Now we have a government which can see into the future. Yeah. We have a government which is a prophet. It can see what it can see how the elections will turn out and what will happen after the elections. Therefore, they prepare themselves adequately. Because I've said this in this channel many times before. I told you the way the government is preparing, they are preparing for war. Yeah, I remember me telling you that. And I told you the way they are preparing, one would be forgiven for suspecting that Kenya wants to invade one of its neighbors. Yeah, the kind of artillery that was happening. What? So we need to act very quickly. Yeah. Those Kenyans outside the country, I suggest you send out letters to the necessary people, appeal. Yeah, the situation is not bad, but if we don't move quickly, it will get bad, because what is unfolding on the ground is not good. Okay, and obviously, Kenyans cannot trust a government. Yeah, Kenyans do not trust the government. They do not believe this government is impartial, because the majority of Kenyans who voted in this election, their vote did not count. Okay? Let me just repeat that. The vast majority of Kenyans who voted in the elections that have just come through, their vote did not count. And that is why we need international intervention in Kenya, international mediation in Kenya between the government and the opposition, as soon as yesterday, for the good of Kenya, to save lives, yeah, and just to, even for the good of certain people in government, yeah, because the image of the international community, you cannot control the international community the way the government is trying to control the mainstream media and what they say. You cannot control the international. Is the communication CS going to control worldwide press and warn worldwide press, warn the New York Times? No, you cannot report this. No, you cannot give the people of Kenya the tally of votes so far. You think TV stations can be warned by the Kenyan government? Apana. We are now on the international stage. And for the good of all of us, I highly recommend international mediation, international intervention in Kenya like yesterday. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.